Welcome back to the show. Today we're joined by Charlie Parrino. He's the founder of JRICards.com. This episode is really cool. You know what's really interesting to me? There are so many different types of business models that you can build nowadays. And Charlie went from being a stockbroker for 30 years into opening a business where he opens up card packs for a living. He opens up super old card packs, and the way that it works is you can get a chance to buy one of the cards in the pack before it's open. So you have no idea what you're getting. It combines the psychology and the biology that we have built in of really enjoying opening up a pack of cards or opening up a gift, while also getting into a valuable asset class at a reasonable cost. Super cool. And what I love about Charlie's business is that there are many different streams of income that he's leveraging that weren't available 10 years ago. You couldn't build a business like this 10 years ago. He brought his kids in, super cool business. I'm definitely excited for you to hear this episode and get some ideas into how you can grow your own side hustle into your primary source of income. Because that's what we want to do. It's also interesting that he kind of had a podcast that was built onto his business as opposed to the other way around. So anyway, super cool episode. I think you're really going to enjoy. Smash the like, smash the subscribe. This episode is for you. And oh yeah, by the way, one of the things that's really important is community. If you're looking for a community where you can actually build a show that works for you, you should really consider joining the podcast Savant community. I've been in the podcast game for nearly 5 years. I run a podcast agency, and it's awesome. But I found that I was turning away too many people that needed help, that wanted to be part of something greater. And so I created a product just for you. It's a community for people just like you. Click the link below to find out more information, or just join. You're going to be in a good place because we're here to help you grow a podcast into something that works for you now, not when you have thousands of listeners. So with all that said, with all that out of the way, it is time to find out how you can grow your own card business, your own pack business, find out more ways that you can turn your hobby into your primary hustle. Let's get into this episode with Charlie Parrino. Let's go. Yo, Charlie, welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, Mark? How you doing today?
I am splendid. Excited to chat with you. You've got a super cool business, and I'm just excited to hear more about it. It's really cool.
Oh, I never get tired of talking about it. I never get tired of opening up these packs. It's just it's a great thing that we do here at JRI Cards.
Yeah, no doubt. I do want to kind of go back in time, though. I always like to go back in time to start off things because it's all about the story. It's about the journey.
I got the actual DeLorean right here.
Nice.
We do go back in time for our packs. So we want to go back in time. I go back to we opened packs from the 50s, but you can go back as far as you want. I am like the Michael J. Fox.
You're opening up cards with like Michael Jordan and Hank Aaron and stuff. It's so cool.
Oh yeah. And these are graded, unsearched and sealed packs from PSA, some from the old GAI. So they've never been opened before. So it's like going back in time, bringing that pack to the future where we're at now, and your best possibility to get a PSA, SGC, or Beckett 10 from these packs, which is phenomenal.
So interesting. It's so cool. And I think historically, or not historically, but it would be almost impossible. I wouldn't say it's impossible to buy them, but these packs are very, very expensive. So the idea of kind of like spreading it out, crowdsourcing, getting the whole community in on opening these packs, it gives you that psychological rush of opening up that special card too, which is super cool.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So I'm going to get into that, but I do want to hop in that DeLorean for just a second and go back in time. You've been in the stock business. You're a stockbroker for 30 years, Charlie. How did you make a jump from stockbroker to pack opener? How did that happen?
Like these cards, they're an asset. I'm not going to compare them to an actual stock, but they're an asset. And most importantly, these packs, these older packs, they don't make them anymore, Mark. They're there. They made an allotment back in the 50s, 60s. During the 40s, there was a war. There was a shortage of cardboard. So the 40s with Ted Williams and Joe DiMaggio didn't get their due justice. And Lou Gehrig was mixed in there too. But they don't make these anymore. So I started to become an avid collector of buying packs because like real estate, I was going to put them away and know that it'll never be opened. And I have one of the few packs that are out there. And over time, I built up a nice collection, as back as the early 2000s, building up. And outside of my card collecting, I like cards, but I kind of like the packs better. And my whole thing was maybe in 20, 30 years when I'm really retired in that rocking chair on my stoop, maybe I would have the strength to open one up and see if I get a pack fresh card which I know, of course, would be worth a lot more money than it is currently today. So that was how the whole thing started. And making the transition with JRI Cards, was that your next question? How the idea came about?
Yeah, I want to know exactly how you did that, because it's such a trap to get caught into that 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, waking up, hating Mondays, living for the weekend. It's this just really soul-sucking trap, but it's really difficult to get out of that. It's difficult to break out of that and to do something that you love. So how did you make that transition?
Early on, I had my weekends. You're right. I had my nights. I had plans to do things, to go out, go see a game, or just watch a nice movie. That's your typical, whether it's in the stock market or any other job, that's your typical 9 to 5 job. This transpired almost similar, like I tell a lot of people, don't ever open up a restaurant. They go, wow, you will never have a life. You work at nights and you do a lot of different things. The transition started slow. It was one night a week. So I'm like, I can sacrifice one night a week. And then one night became 2, and it just slowly morphed into this gigantic business. And of course, you're going to hear this from a lot of people. With the help of COVID and having people locked up in their house, gave them more outlets and channels. And what we're doing is a combination of sports and opening old sport packs and non-sport. So it kind of caught on pretty fast. To make that transition is tough now. I do a lot of things during the afternoon, a lot of show prep, a lot of getting ready, a lot of back office work with my 2 boys and a couple other employees that we have. And you're right. There's games on at night I can't watch, and people are typing in the score, and I'm trying not to get their attention to, what I'm doing here. Sometimes the shows go to about 10, 11 o'clock, and I'm so wound up from the show, I'm not a light switch. I can't go right to sleep. So sometimes I'll watch a little pieces of the show, and I'm up till maybe 12, 1 o'clock from the post show, because it's almost like similar to anything exciting you do, you don't go right to sleep yet. And I'm very tired after the show, but you can't go to sleep. So now you're sleeping later, and it starts taking away. I went from researching stocks to researching sport cards. That was taking up most of my time during the day. And slowly, the whole transition just moved to 90-10, 80-20, 50-50, to the point where it's almost about 99% now, where I'm inundated with old players, like you said. I got to go through 50s, 60s, 70s. And then, of course, we dip into the modern era. So we need to know who's doing what today. What great basketball player may win the next title? Who's the next LeBron? Who's the next Jordan? So we're doing some modern and, most importantly, mid-modern guys who are established and still playing today.
Awesome. Super cool. So I just want to kind of flesh out the business model a little bit more, right? Because it's interesting. I haven't seen this before. I'm sure there's other people that are doing it, but I haven't seen it done the way that JRI Cards does it. So break it down for me. When you first started the business, has it evolved since then? Or what was it like the first time you opened up a pack of cards to crowds,
The first time I opened up a pack I had no hat. I was nervous. I'm more of the shy guy, quiet guy. I didn't know what to expect. You got to open up these packs, and it's a difficult thing to do because they're encapsulated. So we have tools and screwdrivers and Dremels and whatnot. First show, didn't know what to expect. There was some friends and family. Honestly, Mark, it started as a hobby. My boys were in college. I'm like, let's do something with these packs. They got, like you said earlier, they got very expensive. So rather than spend $1,000 for a pack of 10 cards, I thought it would be better to have somebody buy one card for $100. That would fit most people's budget. Some people can afford the whole pack, but there's only 1 or 2 good cards in these packs. So if you buy 1 or 2, let's say you buy one for $100, that's where the whole idea started, almost like a breakup value of the pack. And maybe we would sell it for $150. That's how our profit margin came in. But it was much more beneficial and lucrative for these people to buy one card and hope to get the one Hall of Famer or 2 that were in that initial pack. It started out as a hobby.
Were you doing it originally on YouTube Live like that? Is that how it started? Or were you doing it like in person?
Yeah, you have to do it live. We've come so far from how we used to do it. Now with all the technology every 3 months gets revamped and redone. And 2 of my sons, one was in college. He was in charge of the marketing. I'm like, instead of paying the college for a marketing course, which they didn't have on how to market the internet internet's still evolving 4 or 5 years ago. The colleges couldn't even catch up. You had to go you had to learn from somebody. So I said, you be in charge of the Marco. My other son, Samuel, be in charge of the website. You need a website. He was into tech. He loved it. I go, build a website. It's a free college course, and we'll do 1 pack a week, and we'll just do it as a hobby. And we'll see what happens from there. So I'm still trading. We're doing that. All of a sudden, we start seeing orders come in. We're like, wow, this is pretty good. Let's make the marketing a little better. Let's make the website better. let's make me better. Let's make this fun and exciting again. Whether you or you didn't collect cards when you were little, I'm 56 years old. I saved my pennies and I cut grass. I shoveled snow in the Northeast. I raked leaves and I bought these packs. And when me and my friends opened them, it was exciting, from the stick of gum to the players. And it was very exciting. Now that I'm doing this here in the studio for people like you at home, I try to make that memory come back alive again and do the opening of the pack as if you're right here next to me. And we do it via the show. We got multiple cameras, sound bites, and educational pricing to what these cards are worth. And that's a big thing we'll go over a little bit probably later in the show.
Yeah. So like, what was the most exciting, like, live opening on the show where you just saw, because there's got to be a certain point where one episode just like really hits, like you open up a really rare card. So what was that card and how did that impact? Did that create virality for your program to bring in more people?
It did. It proved that we were pulling pack fresh cards from these graded, unsearched, and sealed packs. So the idea was there that this is how to go that. Early on, we had a 1958 football, and those packs are very rare to come by to begin with. And during one of our earlier shows, Jim Brown's the most expensive individual in that pack, the holy grail of football. And his card back then was probably worth about $500,000 to $1 million in the highest grade possible. That's at least triple now. But we pulled Jim Brown, and the next card was Johnny Unitas. It was back to back, showing people, yeah, we can get nobody, but we can also get one guy. We can maybe get two, maybe three. And there was a giant team card in there also. And we were in, and again, this was during COVID. So we're in our house doing this because we couldn't move out because there was no commercial real estate. You couldn't rent anywhere. It was during that lockdown. And it was electrifying. I don't know if the neighbors were hearing us, but we were yelling and screaming. And it was just one of the most earliest memorable pulls that we had. And we got write-ups from it. Brown and Unitas, back to back, pack fresh, never touched before, except for me, into a card saver on that show several years ago. Very fun and exciting. And that kind of had the initial customer base going, wow, this is interesting. They got something there where I can get a pack when I was little today, and the cards have not been touched by anybody.
Yeah. Well, and when I'm thinking about a business, I'm always thinking about who's buying, who's our avatar, right? Who's our perfect customer. And so I'm thinking that a lot of the core customer is going to be a card collector. That's a lot of C's there. Sorry, I had to cut it.
Yes.
So I'm just wondering, like, how do you encourage people to actually open up a pack, to like share it out on social media, to tag you? Is there any sort of process or system where you can invite collaborators? Because I think that testimonial could be a big deal for your business. Is that something that you've worked on?
Well, yeah, card collecting's been around since the 1900s with the tobacco card. Go back to Honus Wagner, go back to Cy Young, Babe Ruth. Card collecting's always been around for kids. It kept transpiring into a big business. It was always, to me, I always thought, why aren't these cards worth more? They're cardboard treasure. And from Mickey Mantle to Michael Jordan, what happened was when COVID hit, and I think I have to say, we were opening packs before COVID. So other people were also. But what we decided what helped the business out tremendously for the current card collector, the old and maybe the new, was when COVID hit, sports kind of shut down. So what they're showing is Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, the documentary came out. When all this came out, everybody's like, wow, this is great. These are great players. We don't have to see we don't have to see Jeter, LeBron, and the guys playing at the time. We could see great guys, how they used to play. And that brings back memories for somebody in their 30s, 40s, 50s, even in their 60s, to see those players and go, that guy's a great player. I want his card. How do I get his card? Well, you can go buy one on eBay or an auction, or you can come to JRI Cards, where you can be the founder of the card, the owner of that card in that pack. And all of a sudden, a big spike in the card prices came. All of a sudden, a million people chasing a million cards became 10 million people chasing a million cards. And it became known as an asset. There's works of art, there's bottles of wine, there's real estate, and there's stocks. But this cardboard treasure all of a sudden became a hit for baby boomers, for fathers reconnecting with their sons. And we put it into a model where we do, like I said, early packs from the 50s all the way up to 2022.
Super cool. You've also got, big collectors like Gary Vaynerchuk talking about it. You got
that all, yeah. Gary V came around, Diamond, the Vegas Dave. So yeah, it came out. ESPN, which is here in West Palm Beach, they contacted us. Like, we're not reaching out to people. ESPN came here. The LA Times wrote us up. Just like you're smiling when you're discussing what we're doing, they're like, wow, this is cool. I remember that card. I used to have that card. I used to have that pack. I used to, over and over and over. And what we do is we bring it together in a show. So you can just sit home, you buy a spot in one of our packs. When it sells out, you get an email sent to you that we're opening it on this night. And then we have a calendar. And what started out as 2 nights, went to 3, went to 4, now it's up to 5. I think we're going to stay at 5 because we need 2 days off just to gather our bearings and make sure everything's running smooth. But it's a conveyor belt of a multitude of packs. And whether you're in it or not, people are very curious to see what's in there. So if I'm opening a pack and you're not in it, you want to see what's in there. And everybody's rooting everybody on because everybody wants to see that card come out. Nobody wants to go, oh, good, they didn't get Hank Aaron. They want to see it, and they want me to show it, and they want me to go over the education about that player or that card or the value that could be there in that card.
Yeah, super smart. I'm down here in Broward County, by the way, so shout out to all the Floridians listening and watching the show. Yeah.
Yeah, we always invite our customers down. They've stopped by our studio.
Yeah, I definitely have to check it out. So one of the things that I tend to think about when I think about this type of business model, that psychological rush, that biological feeling that you get when you actually open up a pack and it's the card that you've wanted. I open up a lot of pack of Magic the Gathering cards, as I had mentioned before too. And when you open up that hollow, whatever, angel or dragon that you were always looking for, there's something really special that happens. But one of the things that I also think about is NFTs. I got into Gary Vaynerchuk's NFT project for his V friends, and he did something similar here. You would buy a random NFT, which is similar to a card, we'll just say, but you don't know what you're getting until there's a reveal. There's a reveal when it mints. So I'm just wondering if this may not be a way that your company is going, but I'm wondering, has JRI Cards started to look at NFTs as another way of adapting, evolving, or do you think it's best to stick with your core competency?
We dabbled in it. We need to know what's going on out there. I know there was a big push. I think it was very early. Remember how the internet started long ago? No one knew what the internet was, who developed it, the Navy SEALs, who was it, the government that developed it. We heard about NFTs, their videos, their images. I'm old school. I like the cardboard. That's my opinion. Sure. I like the old cardboard versus the new. So when NFTs came around, we looked at it, but what we didn't realize, what we're going to maybe pursue is, if I open a pack for you and I pull Mickey Mantle, we have that on video. You may want to own that NFT where we can maybe package that and sell that to the customer. Because don't forget, not only are we pulling the card for you, it's a live video that you can show your friends. And you can, because it's on YouTube. You don't have to buy it from us. You can edit it and show your friends, hey, I pulled Mickey Mantle. I pulled Derek Jeter. I pulled LeBron James live at JRI. They go, no, you didn't. Oh, yeah, here's my name. Here's Charlie, and here's the card. But as far as NFTs, we're still on the outside of it. Even about 2 years ago, customers wanted us to accept Bitcoin. We're like, no, we'll just take the regular US dollars from now. We don't want to get the industries mixed up. There's so much cardboard treasure out there, but NFTs are on the horizon. We are keeping a close eye on that and how we can turn it into something we do at JRI.
Well, I think it's super smart that you're paying attention. It's like we're still in the pregame. The first inning hasn't even started yet.
Yeah, so exactly. It's the infancy stage, as they say.
Exactly. But this is something I'm seeing a lot of business models created off of. Buy the NFT, buy the digital product, and you will also get a physical product. But in your industry, it kind of flips. It says, hey, you bought the physical product, but we're also going to give you a digital product that goes along with it. I don't know. There's some cool things that you could do. Anyway, I can go off the rails
right now. But as far as the physical card, that's the card you want. Whether it's in your closet 9 months out of the year, I go revisit my collection every 3 months. I go in there like a little kid and look at my cards and packs that I have personally. And it's fun when you have it. What's happening now, Mark, a lot of companies, these became so valuable that they're holding them in a vault now. Yeah. Like, I don't think if you had $250,000 worth of cards in your attic, or grandpa has it in there, you don't want them there. There's theft, there's possibilities. So now a lot of eBay, a lot of other big auction houses are having what's called a vault, where they'll store the card for you, almost like a bank. You got $10,000 in the bank. It's not there. They say it's there. Same thing happened with your card. And I see a lot of big companies buying the card and How I was selling cards and packs, they're now selling fractional shares in cards. So
Yeah.
if you want a 1% ownership of a Derek Jeter PSA 10 93 foil card, which is worth about $500,000, you can buy $50 worth or $100 worth. All this is doing, we don't do this, but what this is doing is propelling people to buy these cards, and you'll never be able to buy that card again because they're selling pieces to everybody and they're breaking down the card. They're not cutting it in corner with the scissors. They're giving you a share in there. So if the card doubles, your percentage. We don't do that, but I think it's great how people can own a piece of a Mickey Mantle card because no one can afford these anymore. They're into the millions of dollars, from Trout to Mickey Mantle to Joe DiMaggio to any non-sport cards. They're up there in price. Too expensive.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, like you said, millions of dollars. I do like the idea of being the one who actually owns that specific PSA 1 graded card that I don't have $1 million for a Mickey Mantle or, but I could potentially scrounge up $500 so I can get a piece of that pack that's being opened.
Yeah. And that's like, for instance, like we have an event going up right here. It's a 1980 Topps basketball. It's Larry Bird, Dr. J, and Magic Johnson. They put all three guys on one card. Long story short, it's Bird and Magic's rookie year. And that card, and as you can see in this pack here, it's designated. It's on the back, which companies will do. It's sealed. It's back there. It's right here. That card in a PSA 10 is worth about $750,000. Now, we're going to eventually open this pack one day. And when that card comes out, if it's a perfect PSA 10, it's $750,000. If it's a 9, probably about 20, 30,000, et cetera. But it's in there. It has never been touched by anybody. It's graded by PSA. So it's there. And
it's guaranteed. That card is guaranteed to be in that box.
It's guaranteed, yeah. So we have packs that's not guaranteed. It's cheaper, so now you have to get the card. Sometimes we'll come across packs through auctions or estates that is designated that it's in that pack. They can see it through the back of the wrapper. Purely legit. They can see a piece of Bird or Magic and they put 2 and 2 together. That's the card. That's great. And like I said, there's boxes also. Kobe's on this one, but we're looking for Steph Curry. It's the hunt. It's the hunt. And what our show does, Mark, we gather these people and we get a lot of views, and we're still building on a more quiet front, but people find us, they love it. And we have just an overflowing JRI community out there that tunes in, and it's FOMO, fear of missing out. A lot of people type in the room, what did I miss? What happened? But you can go watch our videos afterwards, the next day, the next morning, because sometimes we can go pretty late, and I understand people are going to sleep, but rest assured, everything's taped live in front of a streaming audience in a streaming chat, and we attack these packs 4 or 5 nights a week.
Yeah, and I mean, you're getting hundreds of thousands of views on some of these YouTube videos, so it's certainly working. I'm also curious, like, how did you get were your sons, when they saw you doing this, were they like, Dad, we're in, we went in right away? Or did you kind of have to twist their arm to like come home from college to jump into JRI Cards? What was that dynamic look like? They
were still working. They liked what they saw. And we have vivid memories of, again, we don't have a storefront at the time, but we have our phones and we see these orders come. We're like, wow, this is pretty interesting. And then the orders were getting more frequent and larger, which made, because I had the packs already. Don't forget, we didn't have to go, what should we go buy? I'm like, let me sell my packs already. Let me get rid of those packs at the beginning time. And we started to feel a little momentum, almost typical to a sports game. We started hitting some 3s and 2s, and the ball started going in the net. And then we made everything a little bit better. We tweaked it up, turned the volume up a little bit on the whole business, and more people came, more advertising, more people, more packs, and it just kind of ballooned and mushroomed from there over and over. Then when COVID hit, like I told you, people are locked in their house. Also, even after COVID, people are going to Target and there was fights for the product. So if you want to go to Target and buy some basketball boxes, there was on the news fist fights, people pulling out guns. And I'm telling my people just want to sit home, pour themselves a drink, and see what card they're going to get. And other people do this. We're not the only one. We're not the only company that does it. But I am a normal casual guy, and I'm kind of casual even now. If you watch the show, I'm called the Maniac, the Iron Ripper, all these acronyms come in. But we try to make it exciting again, and a lot of people will just open the cards and, hey, but we have and we have no real experience in production or anything, just something we just put together. We think people would like to see as the camaraderie in the room to have all these beautiful cards pulled live. And There's no show prep. I have the packs I'm going to open, say for instance tonight, and we just attack and we just challenge. Every show is different from a different pack, different viewing audience. Every night is just a great experience for our current card collectors, old ones, and even for new ones out there that want to see what's in these packs so they can learn. And what better way before you buy something, let me open it and show you what could be in there or what could not be in there. And, it all materializes from there.
Yeah, love it. I'm also interested, Charlie, in streams of income, right? Because obviously the main business is people buying, slots of cards in the pack, right? But we live in this crazy world now where, if you have a YouTube channel, you can make you have other streams of income, whether it's running ads or sponsors. You could do super chats where people can pay to have their chat read. Are you developing any other streams of revenue in addition? I'm just kind of curious.
We have the ad revenue from YouTube. We have the super chat, and we donate a portion of the net proceeds of the super chat to our Independence for Veterans. We have a charity that we help out with the Independence for Veterans. It's the homeless vets from the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and the Coast. We have a whole charity section. So I'll start with that, where if you buy into that, we mail a check to Independence for Veterans. It's based up in North Jersey, and they hand deliver the goods. We have the super chat. We have some ads in front of some of our rip clips that get a lot of views, but we haven't got a sponsor yet. Now, I drink some bourbon during the show. We have some people. We're ready to reach out to sponsored by Jamison, sponsored by so and so. But we kind of keep it commercial free for now. It's a good pay. I think even currently, I just read Netflix may start putting commercials on there. Commercials are just even those ads in front. They're tough. We just try to keep it simple, but we are working towards different revenue streams as the audience base gets bigger and bigger, and we have some bigger packs that we're going to open. The packs we open are big, but we're going to be opening up really rare. So there's rare, and then there's really rare, and then extremely rare. And we're going to start moving toward avenue. And I think that's going to bring in a lot of viewership down the road for our card collectors.
Super cool. What about membership? Have you thought about opening any sort of like membership community?
We did about 2 years ago. I become a JRI member. It's a very good deal. It's $30 a month or $300 for the year, which gives you 2 free months. We have a reward system. That was one of the next questions. I'll bundle it into this. Every time you buy something at JRI, you get reward points that you can save and use at checkout for additional purchases. The membership will give you double reward points. We'll give you a shirt or a hoodie or a shot glass, something along the lines there. You get multiple discounts. Some guys that buy 3 spots will get 5% off. Exclusive breaks or events will give you 10% off. We did have at the point of COVID a live Zoom. So if you swept the pack and the whole pack was yours, we'd Zoom you in so everybody can see your expression.
Oh, that's cool.
Versus my expression. Honestly, that faded out as some people were camera shy. And when COVID hit, people weren't around. Maybe even to watch, but never mind be Zoomed in. But it's a great membership. We have a Facebook group where a lot of people can ask our other members. And we have some nice high profile collectors. So if you had a question about a 1970 baseball pack, you can put it into our room. I could probably answer it. But right away, you wouldn't mind 4 or 5 other different opinions. And that's part of our membership group also. And it's growing. Our members are very happy. Some people are members just to be a member without buying. They just like to be part of that little membership community. And it's phenomenal. We call it the JRI family, or JRI fam for short. And everybody knows each other. Sometimes I'm opening the pack and you're going to laugh. I'm so excited about the pack and what 5-figure card could be in there. Everybody's saying hello to each other. I'm like, hello, hey, over here. Hey, Joe, hey, Jim, how you doing? How was your weekend? I'm like, whoa, hey, we got the pack. But it's quick. So we have a woo button. So everybody gives each other a woo, and everybody loves it. If somebody goes missing, where has so-and-so been? And there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people in that chat. I got to keep up with not only the pack, but reading and never want to miss what anybody has to say. So it's a good mediocre balance. And we have a team here helping direct me, like chat, read what Joe just said. Good point somebody just made. That was some guy's next door neighbor's father that I just pulled. The stuff that comes out of these rooms are priceless. The jokes that come out of there, like it is a show. It's a show centered around opening packs. It was first opening packs that was a show. Now it's a show centered around opening the packs. So it's a fun experience.
Yeah, it's a super cool business model, Charlie. I'm big in podcasting. I work with a lot of podcasters, help monetize their show, grow their show. And a lot of the strategies that you're implementing are, they're perfect for this type of show environment. ad revenue, membership, sponsorships, potentially super chats. But I think it's really interesting, Charlie, that, you know, most of the people I work with are starting with a podcast and trying to bring in money on the flip side, but you've kind of done it the other way. You said, I've got a business idea, a business product, and I'm going to use a show to grow the existing business I have. And I just think it's, you know, I think a lot of people are sleeping on this type of business model nowadays. It's very scalable. It's very stable with the membership kind of built into it. Super cool business, Charlie. I really like it.
And it's sports. Everybody loves sports. Old guys, new guys, who's the next so-and-so. Sports will always be around. It'll never go away. Cards will always be around. They'll never go away. People have been collecting them, like I said, since and tobacco, unfortunately. And they were selling gum and giving you a card. Now it's the gum. I'm sorry. They were selling gum and giving you baseball cards. Then they had to buy baseball cards and they gave you a stick of gum. And we see that gum in there. It's 40, 50 years old. It is. Yeah. I kind of taste it. It's got mold on it. I just become immune to it, I guess. The fungus and mold on the gum.
Yeah, I'm really interested in how it evolves and how you implement NFTs. I know it's early and I don't exactly know how that would look yet, but that's the feeling that you get when you open a random NFT is still kind of the same as when you open up a random pack. You know, it's just like you said, that desire to open up and get a card, it's not going to go away. It's built into our biology, you know? So it's going to be interesting to see how your business grows over the years. And you got two awesome kids who are going to, you know, keep that torch rolling.
And it's the memories too. It's fathers today opening packs with their son. They buy spots for their son. It could be 8 years old, 12, and they're now part of the process. And the father's reconnecting with the son, what their father did with them when they were little. And we're making card collecting. Like I opened the show, make it fun and exciting how it used to be. It got a little commercialized and a little bland and dry, but it's great. And when I give out free packs to the kids, it's a good, clean hobby. And I told everybody, whether it's yourself or anybody watching this podcast, check that shoebox in your room or in your attic. You may want to insure it because the value there has gone up tremendously. Baseball cards or any sport cards have really yielded a good return over the last several decades and continue to do, in my opinion.
100%. I have a friend actually who had a very, he had a Magic card collection of tens of thousands of dollars, maybe hundreds, and it got stolen. And he, you know, what's weird, I at the time I was running an insurance agency and we were talking about insuring his collection, but we never pulled the trigger. And so,
oh, you got to insure it. I heard floods, fire, theft, or my mom threw them out. The moms won't throw them out today. It's been over and over. My mom threw out my Yankee collection. It was in a shoebox. She goes, I don't think you needed them anymore. I'm like, oh, you always hear the mom through. Poor moms, right? They're cleaning up the house. Your room's a mess and they throw out your cards. I mean, not the Playboys under the mattress. They throw out the cards that they found in your closet. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, you got to do it. So listen, everyone, you got to go to JRICards.com. That's where you can sign up to open up your own pack of these nostalgic goodies. That's JRICards.com. And Charlie, before I let you go, brother, I got to ask you some rapid fire questions. I hope you're ready.
Shoot away.
I hope you're locked and loaded. Charlie, what's the scariest movie you've ever seen?
Scariest movie?
Scariest
that
movie.
I've ever seen has to be probably I'm older, so it's those old ones. Exorcist and The Shining were just two movies that even today would probably freak me out. And Carrie with Sissy Spacek and a young John Travolta back in the day. They freak me out a little bit. They do.
Yeah, they do. It's funny. My last guest had The Exorcist on his top.
Yeah, that's scary. I wouldn't even let my kids watch it. I mean, it's
Yeah, I watched like an edited version. I was like, oh, this isn't too bad. But when you watch like the raw, rough version, like that movie is.
Oh, and Jack Nicholson is Shining too. There's the screenplay. I like the older movies a little bit more than the current ones. The current ones are great also, but those old scary movies were out to scare you. It's just great.
Yeah, no doubt. Favorite animal?
Probably like a dog. You mean somewhere like that?
Could be a dog. Could be a crocodile. Whatever you like.
Oh no, probably dog. Man's best friend, right there. My one son got a dog, and the dog will come on the show once in a while and be chewing a card from the '80s, from the junk wax era. So we do incorporate a dog on our show. He comes on, we'll hold him, and we'll feed him a card from the junk wax era. That's the baseball and football from the late '80s. That when they overproduced. On the Mattingleys and all these other guys. So we have that junk wax card, and we had the dog actually chew on the air on occasion. Nice. On occasion.
Nice. So Charles, I hate to say it, but you're on death row. What are you going to order for your final meal?
Spaghetti and meatballs. Absolutely. 100% Italian. I got customers sending me pizza from Chicago, New York all the time. They send it to our studio because I'm always talking about food. Spaghetti and meatballs and maybe a good slice of pizza, a real good slice of pizza from New York City.
Where would you get it from?
New York City, my favorite places are Prince Street Pizza and Keste Pizza and John's Pizza on Bleecker Street are really good. They're all good. You're in Florida. There's no good pizza down here. And I complain so much that customers actually sent us pizza. And we opened up not boxes of cards, boxes of pizza during the show. And sometimes I even review them on a taste test.
Yeah, I dig that. Like, gosh, what's his name from the what's that show? Yeah.
Portnoy.
Portnoy, yes, Dave Portnoy. Yeah, Barstool.
He does it. Yeah, he does it.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Favorite video game? What's your favorite video game?
Boy, it's been a while, but in our studio, I would play the Pac-Man Fever song, the old Pac-Man game. I am called the Pac-Man because I got so many packs. So what I did was I went out and actually bought the actual full-scale game of Pac-Man.
Nice.
It's in our studio downstairs. It's got Pac-Man, Mrs. Pac-Man, Donkey Kong. It's got 100 games, but those video games to me, I know the new ones today. Kids they got gaming chairs, and 8 hours later they're killing people and doing that. I like Pac-Man, Asteroids, and pinball games. They're the old ones. I'm so old school. I'm 56, but I play Pac-Man down there every day. It's the most legendary game, and we play the song during our show once in a while because Pac-Man and the packs. And we actually, believe it or not, even give out packs of the Pac-Man. That since I started giving these out for free, people are collecting them. They're putting the set together. They're worth some money, Pac-Man.
That's cool. And, it's interesting, because I grew up, there were arcades. There was an arcade in the mall, and you would go there and you would hang out, you'd play arcades. Those are gone now,
Gone.
So it is
gone.
interesting with what you're doing. It's bringing that sense of community back to this kind of nostalgic gaming era. And I kind of dig that. That's kind of a cool thing. If you're on a plane ride and you could sit next to anyone, who are you going to sit next to, Charlie?
Oh, boy. On a plane, depending on how long the trip is, I guess, boy, it all depends on my mood. I'm kind of quiet on the plane. I want to watch a movie or TV. Probably somebody that's not too talkative at the time. Because sometimes you're on a plane, there's no, well, now there's phone. There used to be no phone. When you're on a plane, that's the only time you can really relax and can't wait to get to your destination. I don't sleep on the plane ever. I guess a less talkative person, because the last thing I want to do after talking 4 hours on the show 4 or 5 nights a week is sit on a plane with somebody that has a lot of questions. In the terminal, I'll talk, but on the plane, somebody that's quiet.
Okay. You could sit next to anyone. It could be Shaquille O'Neal. He would be interesting, I think.
Oh, if you want to talk about a celebrity, somebody would like to sit next to.
Hank Aaron?
Shaquille's too big. I'd be like this the whole time. He's a big guy. Boy. Probably one of my Yankee heroes, Derek Jeter. I would like to just sit down and talk to him and just hear what he had. Hear his whole. You always see these any player molded like that. It could be Shaquille. I won't take nothing away from him or Barkley or any. I love a lot of big Magic Johnson, whatever. But you always see these guys on the court. It would be good just to personally talk to them about what their life's like outside of what they're doing now. I always thought of another show would be, where are they now? What are these athletes that weren't Shaquille or Barkley or Jeter? What are they doing now? Like, I know Roger Staubach has a lot of big businesses. John Elway's part of the Denver Broncos. But once their sporting career is over, nobody really talks to these players much. My big question is, do you own your own card? I mean, if I had a son that was playing baseball, I'd be buying every one of his cards and storing them away, or he would. I would have convinced them to. But players in the cards, something nobody's talked about too much. LeBron leaked out once. He owns 2 of his high-priced cards that are worth over $1 million.
Probably a good investment. Well, Charlie, thank you for joining the show today. Loved hearing about the business. Keep up the great work. And we'll be definitely keeping a close eye on JRI.
JRICards.com. Yeah. Mark, thanks for having me. It's great. It's free to watch. I tell everybody, you don't have to pay. It's not a subscription service. You can become a member, but it's free to watch. It's entertaining, and it can break up your evening on several occasions, depending on what we're opening.
Dig it. Charlie, thank you, brother.
All right, Mark. Take care.
Yo, thank you so much for listening to the show today. I hope you're walking away with as much as I did. There were a lot of really cool things that we talked about in this episode, but for me, it was these different ways that you can build income. Listen, it can really be feast or famine out there, and developing these different streams of income is a great way of spreading out your risk. So I'd love to hear from you and what you're doing. Make sure that you leave a comment, shoot me an email, mark@marksavantmedia.com. That's mark@marksavantmedia.com. I'd love to hear from you. What did you get from this episode? And smash the subscribe button. I'll catch you next time. All right. See ya. Peace.